Hello, welcome to Peter Repeater, episode 13. Today I'll be looking at the news and we'll talk about some interesting stuff, hopefully. So to start off with, I will make sure that I've got the live chat connected with my phone so that I can see what's going on. Hopefully I'll be live on. Yeah, that's all good. Got the live chat on my phone just in case I need to look at that, and then we'll get the news up and have a look at that and see if there's anything interesting today. And I know there is one piece of interesting news today, so we'll have a little bit of a talk about that. But we might run out of coronavirus to talk about, so I might resort to just talking about random stuff. So there we have it. So thank you for standing by and watching. Hopefully I can make the most of this live stream, and hopefully things can go well. So here I am on the BBC News. The main headline is Prime Minister Boris Johnson tests positive for the coronavirus, and he is 55, and he is now self-isolating to keep himself safe from other people catching the virus. So that is interesting. Our Prime Minister in the UK is currently tested positive for the coronavirus. So it's really hit home, and it'll probably improve his popularity. It says here he said he will continue to lead the government's response via video conference as we fight this virus in more ways than one, literally in his own body and as a leader of the country. He said, "I'm working from home and self-isolating, and that's entirely the right thing to do. But be in no doubt that I can continue thanks to the wizardry of modern technology to communicate with all my top team to lead the national fight back against coronavirus. I want to thank everyone involved and of course our amazing NHS staff." So wow, that's really hit home. It's crazy. He was did the clapping and cheering for the NHS people, so that's good. In other news, so that's quite a big thing that Boris Johnson is yeah. Oh, sorry, that was I better turn that off. Had Boris Johnson talking there. Okay, so summary of the news so far. So like I've said, Boris Johnson's got coronavirus. Health Secretary Matt Hancock also has the virus. That's quite bad. I've seen him talking here and there. Shows that they weren't really self-isolating like they should have done, perhaps. They continued working and got the virus. The death toll in Spain rises sharply as 769 people die in 24 hours. That's a lot of people. President Trump says there is much respect after calling President Xi of China. Very nice. There had been tension after Mr. Trump's used the phrase Chinese virus. Let's see what my cup of tea is doing. Probably not a news headline, but it's still important. The US now has more than 85,000 cases, overtaking China. More people with COVID-19 have died in China, however. Australia is to quarantine all returning citizens in hotels. So there is a few news reports that I'll have a look at right now. Over 1 million masks sitting in US warehouse, just sitting there apparently. A stockpile of 1.5 million N95 masks is sitting in a US Department of Homeland Security warehouse as hospitals across the US face critical shortfalls of personal safety equipment. The masks are expired but still effective against the coronavirus, according to the US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Okay. Johnson's diagnosis and other developments. So, his fiancée, who is several months pregnant, is self-isolating elsewhere. The Health Secretary, Matt Hancock, is also in isolation. In Spain, the death toll has increased a lot. 769 new fatalities, up from 655 the previous day, taking the total to 4,858. So there's a lot of people. Queen remains in good health. That is good to know. After Johnson diagnosis, who else should be tested? A lot of people. Chancellor Rishi Sunak has not been tested yet because he shows no symptoms, but you think he probably has got it because he's always next to Boris Johnson. 8 more dead in Scotland, taking the total to 33. So this is an exponential thing, like it doubles every 2 or 3 days. The amount of people dying doubles, and it's just a lot of. Or is it the total? Anyway, people, it doubles every 2 or 3 days, which is quite astonishing. I don't think it's the total doubling every 2 or 3 days. It's the amount of people dying each day. Oh, Michael Gove to take PM's place at daily briefing. Bet he's happy with his smiley face. A number 10 spokesman said PM's meals and work documents will be left outside his door. It is understood his fiancée self-isolating. So, yeah. Mr. Johnson will not be appearing in this afternoon's daily coronavirus briefing. It is understood that Senior Cabinet Minister Michael Gove will be taking his place. I bet he wants to be Prime Minister one day as well. Birmingham Airport could become emergency mortuary, which is a place for bodies. Birmingham Airport could be used as a temporary mortuary for up to 12,000 bodies in a worst case coronavirus scenario after talks with several local councils. 12,000 bodies. That's crazy. World leaders wish Johnson quick recovery. That's good. The head of the World Health Organization is also wishing Boris Johnson speedy recovery. Boris Johnson is first world leader to announce infection. Yeah, so dance, exercise, knit. Little Mix stars tips for life in lockdown. Don't really want to read that. Hong Kong to restrict restaurant tables to 4 people. Okay. colleagues and opponents wish PM speedy recovery. Leading Labour politician has virus symptoms. Yeah. So Boris Johnson has been out and about talking to all the MPs and everyone, and they might also have the virus. Graph illustrating how coronavirus has hit Spain. Really bad. It's just an upward curve. Putin staff member has coronavirus, so hopefully Putin doesn't have it. Hungary imposes 2-week lockdown. It's all about the PM really getting the coronavirus. There's lots of countries getting coronavirus, and it seems that Spain is one of them, and that China is starting to be reduced, which is a better sign of things to come, but I'm not so sure because the US and Italy, they haven't begun to slow down. So China might not be being honest. Well, they could be. South Korea had it slow down, so I believe South Korea. So if China and South Korea have it all locked down, they might have overcome the worst of the virus, which is good for them. The UK, hasn't got the worst colours like Spain, Italy and US have, but they do have dark colours. I'm just looking at a graph, darker the colour, the more people got the virus. So it's nothing new really, it's just another day in the lockdown and more people got the virus, including Boris Johnson. I haven't been thinking about it that much recently with the whole, how things have panned out and stuff. I haven't been thinking about worrying about getting the virus because I've just been mostly inside. So I just think I'll be mostly okay. I just think I'll hopefully won't get the virus and things will settle down and I can go to college in September and things can more or less carry on as normal. That'd be quite nice. But we might have a real problem on our hands as people continue to get the virus, and we might have a lockdown for a very long time, and it might be a real problem for our country and everything, and things might get out of hand. And I saw a news article saying there might be global food shortages, so I'm hoping that doesn't affect me, which is a very selfish thing to think, but it's, acting on your self-interest, I think is a natural thing to do. Just thinking about this setup I've got in my bedroom, could be comfier. Let me just adjust myself. Just lean back and lessen the screen, but what can you do, eh? I just think if I move the camera, it's not perfect, but what can you do? I'm not in the centre of the screen, but then what can I expect really? My room's a small room. I can't get that close to the microphone. I wish I could. I could go forward, I'm fairly comfortable and I'm in the screen. Yeah, so there you go. Prime Minister Boris Johnson's got the coronavirus. As far as I know, I have not got the coronavirus. But sadly, if I did get the coronavirus, I wouldn't show up on the BBC website as in, oh, maybe. No, I wouldn't. If I got the coronavirus, I wouldn't appear on the news. If I died from the coronavirus, I might then appear on the news because I'm young and healthy. But if I got the coronavirus, I wouldn't appear on the news. I'd just be another statistic. And unless I die, I wouldn't be one that's mentioned. Because they're not really mentioning the total cases exactly, which is a bit sad. You know, I like to think one day I'll be significant enough that people notice when I die. That's probably not a really important thing in life, but just makes you feel better if you're of note, I guess. But then everything's temporary, and in 200 years everything will disappear and things will not be the same. So I'm not sure if you can have any kind of permanence in this world. Just make the most out of life and try and find meaning where you can, really. So my life at the moment, it's okay. It's not ideal. I wish I could. I wish I had something to do. To be honest, had some friends to talk to, some banter. That'd be quite nice. Sounds like a good idea, really. And hopefully I will get into a situation like that. I've been having dreams, like a couple of times, not close together, but a couple of times I've had bad dreams about having to resit English literature classes at my school to try and improve my English literature grade. And because I got a B in English literature and it was a bit lower than my target grade. Not my target grade, might have been an A star. I don't know how that was the case, but yeah, I got a B in English literature and just having a bad dream about having to redo English literature. I was just never very good at it, and yeah, and I was just saying to my teacher, I care more about the bins than getting a good grade in this exam. I've already got A levels, I don't need to do this. Yeah, and I thought, you know, if I improve my English literature grade, say to an A, I'd have one less B. It wouldn't like be, you know, the best thing in the world. So there you go. There's deep worries about getting lower grades than possible. You know, in my year 11, I had 2 knee operations. I had a knee operation 10 days before one of my exams. So I was a little bit distracted and I was doing the exams with my leg elevated on a chair. So that was my situation. And I did A levels, did that more or less okay. Got good grades there. But yeah, I like to. It's weird, these grades. In the moment, they seemed like everything mattered about these grades that I was getting. Yeah, just why can't I be in the center of the camera? Why can't I figure it out? It's too complicated, okay? Yeah, so when you're studying, grades seem like all that matters throughout the whole year. It's about what grade you're gonna get. And then when you get the grades, it's like underwhelming. and you just get the grades, and there you have it. You got your grade, and life carries on as normal. Like you keep on breathing, you keep on sleeping. You still have to get up in the morning, and you just carry on as normal. So I don't think.
Peter,
Yes.
so can I just say hi to you?
Yes.
Mum and I are going out to do our exercise.
Okay.
Now, do you want to come with us?
No, thank you. I'm okay.
You're okay. We're going out to do our exercise. Are we going around the block, are we?
Well, as far as I can manage.
As far as I can come out, and then we're going.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to go out to get Mum's prescription.
And the weather is turning. This is going to be the last nice afternoon.
Okay.
It's getting windy, so it won't be pleasant to go out. That looks very nice, which is Joshua's lamp, isn't it?
Yes. May.
Yeah, looks good in here.
Can you close the
Hey?
door?
Are you staying in?
Yes.
Okay, that's right.
When Josh won't arrive when we're here, but Josh will come after he's done whatever he's done. He'll come on down later.
Deb, can you close the door?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for doing the dishwash, Peter.
Okay, thank you.
So we'll go out and see some.
Yes, so as I was saying, sorry about that. Yeah, it's just great. Seem like everything that matters in this world is all about the grades, and then when it actually comes to it, and you get the grades, we don't get the grades, life just continues. But obviously, if you don't get the grades, you have dreams of anxiety about resitting the class like 5 years later. It's crazy. There's just too much of an emphasis on achievement, and it doesn't solve your life. You know, what really matters is work experience in the real world. They won't accept you unless you have done a certain amount of work in you know, they won't accept you unless you've done a lot of work in the right field. If you've got no work experience, then it's really hard. So I suppose now I've got a little bit of work experience, but I'm not quite feeling ready to go and go to work really and do 9 to 5. It's a bit difficult really. Yeah, but I don't have to for a while. Got a little bit of time to build up a little bit of stamina for these things, and hopefully one day I'll just be a little bit more prepared to do stuff and be a productive citizen. Yeah. So in other news, my YouTube Premium, I got a discount as a student, and I stopped having it for a few days, and it was all terrible. My worst few days of YouTube ever. I had to watch the adverts, and I couldn't listen to podcasts in the background. So I was trying to save money, but then I got the student version of YouTube Premium, which is great because it means that I can have YouTube Premium, so I don't have to watch adverts, which is really useful because on YouTube there are a lot of adverts, and it's really nice not having to watch them, and I saved money. So if I had kept on going, then I would have spent more money, but because I stopped and then I found the student account, then things got better. Yeah, so that's the latest update on my YouTube Premium and my obsession with grades. I remember couldn't sleep because I was excited about getting the top grades, and then I got the top grades, and then just it's just such a letdown, really. It's just not as important as you think it is. But then what else was I meant to do at school? Was I meant to not get the grades? You know, you're there for one reason, you might as well do the best you can. Yeah, so I did the best I can. That was okay. But yeah, I missed being a student, missed feeling good about myself and feeling clever. And really it's been, it would have been 3 years since being a student. That's quite a long time to not feel clever and feel good about yourself and have teachers compliment you and say how well you're doing, and just being able to answer questions in class and getting things right all the time. There's something special about it. I like doing it. School used to make me feel clever, which was really good. You do some scribbling on a piece of paper, get the right answer, and then you feel clever. That's a great thing. So just to think that I was talking earlier this podcast about the latest news on the coronavirus. I might get a little bit tired of talking about the coronavirus, so think of some other things to talk about. Yeah, just like I was working, and there are good parts about them and not so good parts. And then when I stopped working, I thought everything was going to be okay. Like I thought that when I get the grades I wanted, everything would be okay. But when it actually stops, nothing magically becomes better. Like I have less worry in my life and less bad parts, but it doesn't magically make my life full of good parts and everything. Getting you know, not doing a job doesn't suddenly magic your life better. So I'm hoping that this studying will really help me make me feel good about myself and make me feel worth something. It might be a lot of work. I might have to study a lot. I might have to really knuckle down and do stuff, maybe. But at least I'm doing stuff. It's got purpose. And I just think, well, it's not the end of the world if it all goes wrong, because life will still continue. I don't need to make my life so focused on getting, say, like a first class degree. That's not what it's all about. It's about having a good time and making the best of a situation. And if I felt more relaxed over the 3 years and had a good balance between getting stuff done and doing stuff I like, then that will make me really happy. And it's nice to think that the next 3 years, 3.5 years, I'm still going to do the things I like. I'm still going to watch YouTube with my YouTube Premium. Now I have my discount with the student, and I'm still going to be able to do podcasts if I want to, and I'm still going to be able to play games, and I'll have other things like talking to friends and spending lunchtimes with people and all these little things that you can take for granted, and I'm going to be doing all those things. So I don't think I'm necessarily going to find my true happiness while I'm at home without a job to do. I think it's really difficult to find balance of life and make things worth it. So I think that yeah, I just have to more or less get by and enjoy things here and there, and not have such a pressure to having to do stuff all the time, and just being able to enjoy the fact that I can spend half an hour doing not a lot, or like 2 hours. I think I'm going to really value that, and I'm hoping that I can continue it. And I might not find happiness, but then I might well find happiness. I don't know what's around the corner. But then what is happiness? I think what I'm searching for is like meaning, and I wrote a very short book and I found meaning doing that, and I'm talking on this YouTube every day, and I'm finding meaning doing this as well. And I think just finding meaning where you can, and being able to have something to do, but also as well not letting that something to do encompass your whole life, and just having different dimensions and different things you do in a variety, and just not thinking that every day is the same, and thinking that you can do whatever you like. Just like that freedom. I need to try and make my life like that. Just not feel like every day is the same. And I do feel like that sometimes. I feel like, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch YouTube, I'm gonna have a shower, gonna empty the dishwasher, gonna help with tea, and all these things. Just feels like a routine. I suppose people say routines are good, but I just want a little bit more variety. So I should probably read books, I should probably watch films and dedicate time to doing stuff. But it's not too bad, because I love listening to podcasts. That makes me really happy. When I'm listening to a podcast, and part of the reason why I'm making this podcast, but when I listen to a podcast, I can let the words wash over me and just sort of rest and have peace of mind. And that's probably when I'm happiest, when I'm listening to a podcast. Most at peace, have a calmness to life. Because all that is to come is more interesting stuff, more content of the podcast. And that's all there is in that moment. It's just that you and the podcast, particularly if it's a good podcast with an interesting guest and they're talking about interesting things, that can be really worthwhile. So maybe one day I could do that for other people. I can make the most of this YouTube space, and I can give people something to listen to. Maybe one day the lighting in my room will be better. I'll be in the center of the screen. I'll figure that out. My room's a bit cramped, so it's not quite that easy. But there you go. I've live chatting is open. I should probably get myself comfy, because this is hurting my neck. So bear with me, the noise of the chair. Let's see if I can get comfy. So if I'm like this, that's comfy. And if I move the camera to be in the center of the screen, I'll move, yeah. That's better. Like, yeah, we're just getting this figured out. But there, I'm in the centre of the screen. Was that so hard? I was trying to be clever and have a microphone. I was just, I was trying to be clever. There you go. Oh, poo. We're getting this. There we are. Is that so hard? Having the microphone in the screen is in the exact centre. Having the microphone in the screen is cool and everything, but it's not necessary. Let's see if I can get it more in the centre. There we go. And there we have it. Anyway, we're just sorting out this podcast situation. Yeah. I was just twisting my neck and trying to get close to the microphone and everything, when really it's not that important. I'm in the centre of the screen. Well, I'm not. But it's not perfect. Well, they make it perfect. There we go. Everything's not quite perfect. Let's bring it down a touch. That couldn't be better. Right, so there I am in the centre of the screen. I had the microphone in the picture and I thought that was important. I don't even know if I've got the microphone on the best setting because it's loud and everything and it's good quality, but it's not particularly the best situation to consider that. I don't know, because I have got another microphone set up with like a little microphone that goes on your shirt, little lapel microphone, and it's not made by lapel, but I don't know, it's a little microphone that you can speak into. And sometimes I think my voice is like the audio quality isn't very good, but that just might be because I find my voice annoying. I don't know. So there we are. I tried my best to get a cool shot with me and the microphone, but we've just resorted to the camera being pointed at my face, which really might be the best situation. Just added an extra little bit of dimension having me and the microphone, but never mind. The microphone is still there. It's still the thing recording my voice, and I might decide to have a little microphone that I just have attached to my shirt, but never mind. So here we are in the podcast space. Let's see if there's any more news. And I'm not perfectly in the centre. I don't think it's even possible because of the mechanics of my bedroom and stuff. It's good enough. It will flip and do. So, who will pay my wages if I can't work? Let's answer that question. Okay. If you are still employed, I'm currently reading the news on my tablet down here. So, who will pay my wages? If you are still employed but do not currently have work, the plan is that you will still get your wages. Your employer will be able to access grants by the end of April from the UK's tax authority to allow them to keep paying you. The typical worker is paid £585 a week on a median average which is the middle point of all workers. That's a lot of money, according to the Office for National Statistics. That is about £2,340 a month. The government says 80% of gross wages in the private sector at £2,500 a month for those not working and who would otherwise have been laid off will be covered by these grants from HM Revenue and Customs. These will be backdated to March and the scheme will last 3 months at least. The idea is to prevent mass unemployment. Does the wages plan cover everyone? No, this is for those who are on the pay-as-you-earn system. Self-employed work people will receive support from another system. Those on the working age benefits will see a more generous universal credit system, rising by about £20 a week for the next year. The same rise will be given to those still on the working tax credit system. The government says this will benefit more than 4 million of the lowest income households. Public sector workers are not covered because most of them have their wages paid directly by the government. What if I'm working from home? Will I get paid if I need to look after my children? When your children's school is closed, or if you have a relative who is ill, your employer must give you time off to look after them. But your employer is not forced to pay you unless your contract requires it. However, many employers are allowing parents to work flexibly to try to manage both work and childcare. Key workers who have been defined by the government can still send children to school or nursery. Will I get paid if I have to self-isolate? Don't know. You may do through sick pay, which varies from company to company. So it sounds like they're trying to pay people where they can, but there'll still be lots of people who don't get paid. So some people are going to be really stuffed. And because this is quite short into the because this is quite short into the pandemic, things might get worse. Okay. Tesco restricts online orders to 80 items each. So people are terrified of going to the shops, so am I. I'm terrified of going to the shops, says someone. Yep. So old people and vulnerable people can shop, have select opening hours just for them to try and help them out. Cool people, yeah, food's an issue. All this shopping business is an issue. Yeah, so I'll just have a look at India. This is interesting. India super spreader quarantines 40,000 people. Authorities in India have quarantined around 40,000 residents following a coronavirus outbreak linked to one person in Punjab. The 70-year-old man died from COVID-19. He had ignored advice to self-quarantine after a trip to Italy and Germany, officials told the BBC's Punjabi service. Upon returning to India, he attended an event to celebrate the holy festival of Hola Mahalla. It attracts around 10,000 people every day. A week after his death, 19 relatives tested positive for coronavirus. Police have sealed 20 villages near the area where the man stayed to prevent the virus from spreading. Wow. That guy. Djokovic buying respirators to help Serbia's fight. Novak Djokovic, ranked as the world's leading male tennis player, is donating €1 million to help buy respirators and other medical equipment for his native Serbia. The 17-time Grand Slam champion will provide the financial support, about £890,000, from the foundation he runs with his wife Jelena. That's good of him. Roger Federer donated £1 million Swiss francs. Rafael Nadal has teamed up with Paul Gasol to raise money. 7,000 nurses and midwives signed to return to NHS. Fears of global condom shortage amid coronavirus. Wow. So, wow. They're not producing them enough, and there might be contraception issues. Yeah, so that is interesting. I think over 1 million masks. Yeah, I've read that in US places. So all of that is good. Let's Google what. Oh, that's a good question. What will happen if everyone gets coronavirus? Experts envision 2 scenarios if the new coronavirus isn't contained. Can I read this? Yeah. So COVID-19 could return repeatedly like a bad seasonal flu. Okay. It's one of those things where I can't be bothered to read. It's all about the virus and stuff. I just want to, find out the worldwide implications. Okay. Our future. I might have to stop this podcast because I really want to listen to another podcast. Our future with coronavirus. We simply don't know what kind of Britain will awake from all this. Wow. I don't know how to read this. We are sailing in the dark towards an unknown future. Britain's mood after this First World War and flu pandemic has been described by the historian Richard Overy as the morbid age. It was, Overy says, an era of fear and paranoia about a dystopian future. Few put their faith in traditional politics. Britain after the second was very different. Never again was its more optimistic motto. No one can say which of these moods or what other mood is likely after the COVID-19 pandemic. Instead of insisting that the pandemic confirms everything we thought beforehand, it would be better to start thinking about all the unwelcome changes that the pandemic may bring in the decade to come. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. What will coronavirus kill populism? I don't know what populism is. Anyway, I'm just reading stuff on the news at this point. Let's try and go off script and look into the camera and talk for long periods of time. So, my life is good. I suppose as long as I've got food to eat, I stay healthy, stay happy, I can be thankful. And I hope all this can happen. Yeah, so that's good. Thinking about myself and thinking about staying well, physically and mentally. And I think I will. I think my thoughts are in a good place, and I think I am getting a bit tired here, but never mind. Yeah, my thoughts are in a good place. I think I'm in a good position to do well. And whatever I do between now and my college starting, I'll still have college to do, which is quite a relief, really. Having something to do. That was such a good idea, signing up for college. Just having something to do. When I say college, it's my local college, but it is also a degree awarded by a university. But I'm not going to university because I'm not leaving home, so I haven't got that to worry about. My life is more or less predictable. I don't know what I'm going to do. I might be in a case where I've got to do college and do a job at the same time. That might be quite a struggle. I don't know. Or I might find it manageable. Probably do without the job as long as possible. It's not all about being successful. It's also about just being sensible and being able to do stuff. Just staying well, staying healthy. So it might be that I don't start straight away with a job, but I eventually get the job. And the job isn't for the money, it's part of my first year is to get evidence from a job. So I need to do that. But I think part of the course is also preparing your CV and everything to make yourself attractive for employers. I'd probably apply for those jobs. And what I should be doing now is probably like learning loads of coding, but I just cannot be bothered. But I have got a plan. Start Monday. That's my plan, pretty much. Start Monday. Friday now. You know, I don't have a job and the weekend is pretty meaningless. But start Monday. That's the idea. So all things considered, I should be more or less okay. Just think about today, what am I doing? I've got a phone call with a therapist, part of some sort of charity, and I've also got, so that's quite nice, get to do some meditation on the phone. I'm also going to listen to a podcast, which would be quite nice as well. Could play some video games, but I probably had enough of screens. I don't know if I can read a book today. Podcast or a book is probably the decision. It's what my life's like. I do useful stuff as well, help out the house and stuff, but not too much. When I was working, I didn't do any useful house stuff. I just worked, and that was more. But now, I don't do work. I do some useful house stuff, but it's overall less. One in the future, eventually, I will be doing useful house stuff, and I will be doing a job at the same time, like a normal adult. But I'm not quite ready for that. It takes a special kind of person to be able to focus for long periods of time and to be able to be useful for a long time. But some YouTubers are doing well. Joel from Roomy Official, he's doing well. He's doing his daily videos and he's starting to get a good few 100,000 views, which is good for him. He might be able to get to 1 million views per video, but that's quite hard to do. PewDiePie does it, but he's a special case. So meanwhile, I get views on my videos, which is quite good. Quite pleased about that. Get people watching, people listening as well, and I'll hopefully improve over time. Because Joe Rogan, he's a podcaster, and he's really good at podcasts, and they're really interesting to listen to, and everything. And hopefully I can improve, because he's on like 1,400 something, so he's done a lot of podcasts, and I'm on episode 13, so hopefully I can improve. And it'd be cool if I could figure out how to get people to join me on my podcast and talk about stuff and like have a conversation. That'd be pretty cool. I don't really know how to do that. There is this podcast, there's this like live streaming service where you can do such things, but it costs way too much money. I guess I'd have to have like full screen Skype and do it that way. So it's possible. Have the camera and then full screen Skype. I don't know how they would see me. It's a little bit complicated. It's possible. Yeah, it's doable. So they would see me, and it's already complicated enough that if I got somebody talking with me, via video chat, that'd be pretty cool. I'd have to wear headphones. I could figure it out. OBS Studio is very, very cool, so hopefully I can figure that out. And figure that out, and I wouldn't be able to switch between the videos, because that's what people do. They record 2 sets of videos and then switch between the faces, and you'd have like a setup with videos at each speaker, and and everything. One pointed at one person, one pointed at another person, and also have a outside view and stuff. And you switch between the cameras, and it's possible to do that live if you've got somebody with a button. You have a helper, but I wouldn't be able to do that. It's too complicated. So I just have me talking and then somebody like in the corner talking as well. That's possibly doable. I should probably try it, to be honest. Say, do you want to be on my podcast? It's possible. It's doable, but I feel like I need to get a podcast person. That might be doable. Yeah, get guests on, but this might be in a year's time. For the minute, it's just me talking by myself, reading the coronavirus news, and trying to keep the ball rolling. Keep the ball rolling. Keep the podcast going. Yeah, yesterday I had some people watching, which was quite cool. Have people watching today. But at one point I had 4 people watching, which is fairly cool. And hopefully I get to the stage where I have more people watching, but it's hard really. Maybe if I do 100, I usually give up eventually. I don't keep on going for that long. I think I've done like 30 in a row before. But yeah, so I've done a lot really. I did 28 gaming ones on another channel, and done 12 of these ones on this channel, hopefully improving the visual and microphone quality. Yeah, so it's not perfect, but then it's better than it could be. The quality is there. Probably need to look into the camera a bit more. Yep. Oh well, it's a bit weird because you just want to look at yourself really, but there you go. You want to check that it's still working. You want to see how many people are watching. So I wrote a book called An Unbelievable God. It's only 62 pages. So it'd be pretty, if you printed it out, you wouldn't really take up much space. But if you read it, it is quite interesting. Some of it is really good. Kept me interested, and some of the thoughts that I think really quite good. So An Unbelievable God on the Amazon Kindle store, which is great. It's a real testament to my podcast, and it's got nothing to do with my podcast. So the idea was to become, I don't know, a well-established YouTuber, and I started 5 years ago. And what is it? No, don't tell me. 6 years ago. 6 years ago, I had the idea to upload videos, and here I am 6 years later talking live on YouTube. And the most views I ever had was 6 years ago when I started, when everyone at school was watching. But I suppose you got to start somewhere. You got to build an audience, or not. I suppose I got the setup sorted out, and you can hear me, you can see me, and stuff like that. And hopefully in a month's time it'll be seamless, and things will just work out pretty well. And you'll be able to see me, you'll be able to hear me, and I'll be talking to people in the live chat. I'm a little bit vulnerable to mean comments and stuff, and like dislikes, but I suppose just have to get used to it. I don't know if it's, some YouTubers, the live chat is like way too fast, and then they can't see what's happening, and they can't see all the comments. But then I don't have a live chat going on. But patience, you do one podcast and no one's watching, and you do another podcast and everyone's watching, and it's really hard to tell what it's going to be like. You don't know when people are going to start watching, or what's going to happen and stuff like that. So my life goals is being on Joe Rogan's podcast. That's my life goal. And then once you're on Joe Rogan's podcast, you can be on all podcasts really, which is great. That's how it works. It is. If you can make it onto Joe Rogan podcast, and considering a lot of the people on Joe Rogan podcast are like people I've never heard of, So I should pick up that pen. Probably not worth ruining the video for it, but I'll pick it up anyway. Sorry about this. Cleaning my bedroom one pen at a time. My bedroom looks surprisingly clean from this angle because you can't see the floor or the bed or anything really. Anyway, so I suppose just being live is good enough really. I don't need to focus on, you know, always being top-notch entertainment and stuff, because not many people stay live for very long. I don't know, they're not always live. Like my favourite YouTuber, Marques Brownlee, MKBHD, he reviews technology, mostly mobile phones. He will do a live stream like maybe every time he gets another 1 million subscribers, which is not very often. So he'll do a live stream then. And he'll do a Q&A and stuff. Q&A is such a luxury, having the ability to get questions and to be able to, sorry, I just spitted there. The ability to have questions and to be able to answer them is quite a luxury. I don't know how long I've been talking really. Feels like a long time. I've sorted the camera angle out a little bit so I'm in the centre. Things look a little bit better. Don't know how it sounds. Probably sounds pretty good. I'm loud. If you turn me up, that's always possible. But there we are. Let's have a look at the news. If there's nothing there, there's nothing there. We might end it because I want to listen to a podcast at this stage. At least I've tried it, you know. I've tried to be online today. Oh, I already knew that. Number of people in the UK that have died today. Or maybe I didn't know that. Let's have it. This is coronavirus, the latest and greatest. The number of corona deaths in the UK has risen from 578 to 759, so 181, according to the Department of Health. This is the biggest rise in deaths that the country has seen so far. 14,579 have now tested positive for the disease, including UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson. That's a great bit of news, that is. Well, it's not great, but it's just significant. So there we have it. There's me talking about stuff. Let's do the look over to my laptop, which I'm not supposed to do. Oh, that's quite good. I've done an hour. I'm pretty pleased with that. Alright then, thank you for watching. I probably won't be able to do another live stream today. If I do, it'll be a bonus. But I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.